Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Freely Nourished, the podcast that empowers you to break the cycle of dieting by teaching you to nourish your body well. I am your host, registered dietitian Erin Casey, and I am also the owner of New You Nutrition Counseling, where we believe that you can reach any of your healthcare goals at just about any body size. So if you are ready to let go of that toxic and shameful cycle that is dieting, the up, the down, the yo-yos, join us. We have lots of ways that we can help you. Even if your goal is weight loss, if your goal is just to improve your health without weight loss being a focus, we are here for it. We are here to support you in whatever it is you want to do with your body. Probably the best way to figure out what all we have to offer and see which options may be the best for you is to go to our website. I'll link it in the show notes below. We have lots of options from everything like digital self-paced courses, so things that you just kind of purchase and then click through and study on your own time. We also have one-on-one counseling with our registered dietitians. And we also now have a group membership that is open to anyone. And we meet once a month for a Zoom call. We also have a Facebook group and some additional workshops that are included in the membership, which is actually what I'm going to talk to you about today. So if you get to the website, click around on it, find that you're just kind of confused and overwhelmed and you're not quite sure what it is that might be the best fit for you, book a discovery call. The discovery calls are completely free. It is about a 15-20 minute call. You sit down with me. We go through kind of what you're experiencing, what your goals are, what any challenges are that you've had in the past trying to reach those goals. And then I just kind of lay out all of our options for you. It's not a sales pitch. It's more of this is what we have to offer. It's an opportunity for you to ask any clarifying questions that you have about information on the website. It's also just a chance for you to kind of get to know me, get to know our practice a little bit better, get to know the vibe and kind of what we stand for, what we're about, and whether or not that's an appropriate fit for you. Like I said, I am not a salesperson. I think my business coach wishes that I was more of a salesperson. But my goal with those calls is not to inundate you with options. It's more to just give you an idea of what exactly is available to you and what might seem like the most appropriate choice for you. So today we are adding to those choices, which is what I wanted to talk to you all about. We have an upcoming workshop. It is called Easy Entrees, which is exactly what it sounds like, right? I am walking you through all kinds of ways to make easy meals for yourself. This is coming on the cusp of, I feel like routinely just the kind of content I get the most requests about is just kind of how do I feed myself as an adult? And honestly, that's a more complicated question than a lot of people think that it is, because frankly, how you go about it varies widely depending on your individual circumstances, your taste, your skill level in the kitchen, your schedule, whether or not you have kids or other family members that you have to account for. And all of that just adds layers of complication. So what I'm going to talk to you about in the easy entrees is just how to do that, kind of how to assess your situation and build a plan that feels good for you. There are lots of tips out there. There are lots of suggestions out there. Honestly, there are lots of ways to go about it, and all of them are valid, right? I will say that probably most of my audience in some way, shape, or form consists of busy adults. I will say that much. So there will be a slight focus on kind of easier meals or quicker meals and things like that throughout the course. It's not going to be as much kind of heavy duty, cooking strategies. However, if like you all want that too, I love to cook. I have a pretty deep culinary knowledge actually. So if that's something that you just want to like get fancy, we can totally do a workshop on that too. But that will not be this, right? This one's about the fast, the easy. How do I get myself fed on like a Tuesday when I just came home from work and I'm exhausted and I'm hungry and really all I want is a bowl of cereal, but like I know I need something more nourishing than that. And I think it's important too. I think it's important because nourishing yourself as an adult or just as a human is a really, really important act of self-care. I think it's that often gets forgotten. And it's kind of, when it comes to calories and nutrition, like there are a lot of ways you can go about it to meet your physical needs, but there's also something kind of soothing and cathartic about preparing a meal for yourself. It's sometimes you're going to want to take the time to kind of build those really kind of, more elaborate meals that take more time. But unfortunately, the way our society is, most of us just don't have that luxury most days, sometimes even most weeks. And that's just the reality. So it's kind of, how can we blend the two? How can we blend our need and want for kind of delicious food that feels nourishing, both kind of mentally and physically, as well as, kind of meet the, physical demands of, a high-paced capitalistic society, right? Because I mean, we can sit here and bitch about it all day long, but we're not going to change it in our lifespan. So I think it's so that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm going to teach you kind of, how to plan, how to prep, kind of how to lay out your week with kind of lots of different modalities to kind of give you lots of options for you to try out and kind of see what works well for you. I'm also going to give you lots of kind of, shortcuts, quick tips, life hacks type things in the kitchen to kind of just save you time on the days when you really need to save time. And then also kind of just like ways to pull things together from like pantry or freezer items and things like that. I feel like so often those are things that are underutilized because they're not viewed as quote unquote healthy. They are, right? They are. And at the end of the day, it is a meal on a plate in your belly. That's the ultimate goal. It doesn't have to be elaborate. And even if it is less nourishing than another option, it's there, right? And I think it's really important to kind of build your confidence in using those things and kind of, allow you to kind of explore them creatively, use them in ways that taste good, use them in ways that are appetizing, but also ways that are fast and easy. So this is, if you are someone who has struggled to feed yourself as an adult, whether it is because you get overwhelmed by like looking at recipes on Pinterest, or you just go to the grocery store and you just kind of stare at all of the different options and you're like, oh God, what am I supposed to pick here? How do I make this into meals? Or you get home and you have all the groceries in your house. You're like, how do I make this into a meal for myself? This is for you. Okay. We're going to walk you through it. I'm going to walk you through the decision processes, and we're going to kind of get you kind of, what your plan A, B, and C can be so that you just have to kind of plug in and go week to week. And then of course, obviously permission to change, permission to play, all of that good fun stuff. So the course is really cheap. So I'll explain why in just a second, but it is $15. So it is $15. It will take about 3 hours of your time. We are planning to do it live on June 25th. So right now it is May 28th as I'm recording this. So we've got about a month, and it will be about 3 hours if you want to attend the live course. Of course, as with everything, it will also be recorded. So you will certainly have the option to purchase it for honestly the same price afterwards, if you're not able to join us live. The only benefit you get joining it live is that it's live, right? You have questions, there's discussion. If there's things that don't make sense to you, you have the option to kind of ask it right then and there versus, if you're looking at it after the fact. So that will be the option. If you are a Cauldron member, this is free for you. So if you're like, wait, what's the Cauldron? How do I do that? The Cauldron is our membership. So I wanted something kind of, witchy and against the grain as the title, but Cauldron membership started a couple of months ago. Right now, it is still only $50 for the rest of 2023. After that, it will be $25 a month. What will you get with the $50 for the rest of 2023 is that you get free access to this workshop, and there will be a second workshop later on in the year, probably November, December. It'll probably focus around holiday stuff. But if you join the Cauldron, you also get to vote on what the workshops consist of, and all of the workshops are free to you. You also get access to monthly Zoom calls with the whole group. Those are very informal, but people really like them. I think anytime you are going against the grain in terms of kind of, your rebuttal of diet culture, right? Or, you're like, I'm sick of diets. I'm sick of trying to lose weight. I just want to feel good in my body. you kind of start to really notice, the more you heal that relationship with food and your body, you really start to notice the toxicity that surrounds diet and body talk, and just like how rampant it is in, workplaces, family gatherings, sometimes even in your own home. And it can be really frustrating and really isolating to exist in that space. And that is why I've created a space for you to find support. It is exhausting to kind of walk through life when you kind of seen the light and you're kind of on the anti-diet path. You're healing your relationship with body and food, and it can be really, really tiring to constantly be inundated with those toxic diet culture messages. So the cauldron is your space to let it all out, to vent your frustrations, to get grounded feedback from me, from each other, and just to kind of, get that support and that boost that you need to kind of keep going, because it is exhausting. And unfortunately for most of us, it will not be our norm. We will not have, I feel so spoiled working in dietetics, because most dietitians are anti-diet. And I feel like I have that support nonstop, but when you don't work in dietetics, the rest of the world can get pretty ugly. So that's kind of your space for that. So like I said, there's a Facebook group, there are monthly group calls, and then there of course are the workshops. So the reason why it is only $50 for the rest of 2023 is that there are only 2 workshops in the rest of 2023. In most annual years, you will get one a quarter. So it'll be $25 a month. You get a workshop every 3 months, and then the group monthly calls and access to the Facebook group. You also get more access to me kind of directly if you have, questions about your own personal situation. I will say, though, that this $50 for the rest of 2023 will not last. So after this workshop, so after June 25th, the price is going to go back up to the normal $25 a month. So book it early if that's something that sounds like it's of interest to you. At this point, it's not a huge price difference between the workshop and the Cauldron membership. So let me know if that is something that is of interest to you. Of course, once you become a Cauldron member, the workshop then is free. So I am very excited to offer that to you. As always, I welcome any input and ideas in terms of what types of workshops and content you all would like to see coming. And with that, I will leave you until next time, but I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you here in the near future.